in my video and to have me make a video specially to answer your question, send me an email to englishclubusa@yahoo.com, and you can visit my website at englishclubusa.com for a free life membership. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell. Welcome to the most scariest topic in English language. And in just a few minutes, you'll find exactly why this topic is not scary at all. Well, nothing creates greater fear in English students than even thinking about phrasal verbs. The thought of phrasal verbs scares everybody. It scares teachers because teachers think, well, how am I going to teach thousands of phrasal verbs? And sometimes the same phrasal verb means, according to teachers, different things. But does it? Let's take a look and see first, what does it mean to have a phrasal verb? Is there such a thing that's called phrasal verb? Or maybe it's just a big lie created by those who don't know how to teach verbs and prepositions. So before we continue further, let's talk a little about what are the phrasal verbs. How do you make a phrasal verb? Is there a formation of phrasal verbs? Or is it something that a culture created? Well, remember, I always tell people that English is binary. That means there are always two parts that complement each other. Well, phrasal verbs is no exception. Because phrasal verbs are always, without any exception, are made of two parts. Well, one part, as you saw in my other video, How to Learn English Language, probably the best video for you to watch, you will remember that I told you that the two most important things to learn in English language are prepositions and verbs. Well, when you think about phrasal verbs, what are phrasal verbs? Well, they are preposition and a verb. So let's take a look at a few examples and see exactly how phrasal verbs function. We did a beautiful video on the word run that I always love to make fun of. And I'm going to use this video to take advantage of that word that I make so much fun of. Make sure you go to the video, and I think you're gonna enjoy it a lot. So let's look at the first example. We ran up a huge bill at a restaurant. Run. Is it like moving fast? Is it like walking? Try Google it and see what happens. Or look at my other video. Well, you will find out that almost everybody talks about run as some kind of a movement or walking in a higher rate of speed. Well, as you will see in the video, run has nothing to do with walking. Okay? But in this example, run has something to do with the word function. So when you look at my other videos that have to do with prepositions, you will understand that preposition up has something to do with when you do something completely or totally or all the way. So when you ran up a huge bill, what happened is that you functioned in a restaurant. And what function do you have in a restaurant? Your function in a restaurant is to order items. That's what restaurant owner wants you to do. They want you to buy more things and consume them. So your function as a customer in a restaurant is consuming items. And then they send you a bill for what you had consumed. So if you ran up, that means you had functioned up completely the way you were supposed to, and that means eat and drink and buy and order more stuff. And then when they gave you a bill, it was huge because you functioned all the way. Let's look at the second example. We saw a house that was completely run down. Run down. Is the house running? Is the house walking? Probably not. So what does it mean, a house that's run down? Well, run down, what is the function of the owner of the house? Well, the function of the owner is to maintain the house in good condition, so that it will be beautiful, not ugly. So it will look new, not old. So if the owner didn't function the way the owner should function, then what you have a house that preposition down, if you look at the video of prepositions, means completely, and completely in a negative sense, just like the video explains. So that we saw a house that had an owner who functioned completely in a negative way. So whenever you have a house in a really bad shape that nobody performed their function as an owner, and the result was negative completely, that's your completely run down house. Let's look at example number 3. I will run in and get my coat. I will run in and get my coat. Will I be moving fast? No. But what we have is, we have two parts. We have a run and we have a preposition in. Well, if you looked at the video and you paid attention and you watched it carefully, you will remember that the preposition in means there are two or more possibilities. That has to do with time and place. So, my coat was in the house. So what did I do? I had to go for a few minutes more, a few minutes less. I had to find my coat in one place or the other place. And how did I do that? I had to open the door, I had to unlock the door, I had to open the door, I had to turn on the light, I had to perform many functions. So when I say I will run in, I wasn't talking about my moving fast or walking. What I was talking about is I will perform all the functions necessary in order to, the functions will take some time, and my coat will be located in some place, and there are two more possibilities, and the result will be getting it. What is get? Well, there's a really nice video on that thing, on the verb get. Number 4, we will run out of milk if we don't buy some more. Well, first of all, there is a really interesting video on the use of the word some. That is such a fun video, I promise. You gotta watch it. So, we will run out of, so now you have not one preposition. Now you have two prepositions. So now what you have a combination, you have a formation of a phrasal verb, not just with one verb and one preposition, but you have one verb and two prepositions. That's a special formation that has multi-functions. So what will happen is that out, if you remember, is something that is completely, and it will be a fact, and of, a preposition that represents one of everything that we have. So when we will run out of milk, that means milk, okay, is one example that of everything that we have to consume in the house, and however the milk was functioning, it will function no more. And that will be a fact. So whenever you're talking about run out of, you're talking about that something is no longer functioning, it's a fact, and whatever that something is, which is in the case of milk, is one example of everything that we have in the house. Example number 5. The milk ran over and spilled all over the stove. You see, we have two things. Number 1, we have the verb run in the past tense. We have a preposition over, and we have another verb spill, and we have a preposition over. So you see, there will be many situations where you will have to make a phrasal verb. So your teachers will say, but wait, run over is a phrasal verb and spill over is not? How is it possible? There are two verbs. One verb is run and the other verb is spill. And in both cases, it's the same preposition. So let's take a look and see how that functions in the sentence. Whenever the milk ran, that means the milk was functioning by boiling, and that's what milk does. When you boil the milk and it reaches the boiling point, it goes up completely. Okay, it starts boiling and it's over. It starts and finishes. But then it reaches the top of the pan. So when milk runs over, that means it starts at the bottom, at the lower level, and it finishes at the highest level. So the preposition over means, if you remember the video on prepositions, it means start and finish from point A to point B. So when the milk ran over, that means the milk started boiling and finished where it was the top of the pan. And then what it did, it spilled. That means, so the word spill, it means uncontrolled situation of liquid. And it spilled all over the stove. What is all? All means completely. Over, what is over? That means from start to finish. That means that the milk completely, from left side to right side, from front to the back, covered the stove. So when you look at both of these combinations, you will see that both situations have verbs and have prepositions. And if you understand correctly how the phrasal verbs are formed, you can make your own phrasal verbs. You don't need to remember them. All you have to do is understand the meaning, the true meaning of the verb and the true meaning of a preposition. Let's take a look at number 6. I was running around all day. In this case, the verb is not run, the verb is was running. And there's a really great video on the tenses of verbs that you definitely need to watch. So I was running, that's your verb, was running, which is a process in the past. And if you remember the video, was running does not have a start and it does not have a finish. It was just a process that existed. We don't know, I could still be running. Around, the preposition around means not specific, not exactly certain place, all day. So when I say I was running around all day, that means I was functioning. That means doing something. As a person, we do things. And that means I was doing something in non-specific places. All day long. What about number 7? My favorite example. Valerio is running for the president of Uruguay. Good idea. The president may not like it, but I like it. So, what does it mean Valerio is running? Well, first of all, the verb is running, not running, is running. Okay. What is the time of the verb? Make sure you look at the video. And what is the preposition for? Make sure you look at the video on prepositions. So for, you will get from the video, is something that works for something else. Something that is good for something else. So that means that Valerio is functioning to be good as a president of Uruguay. That means, what am I doing? I'm sending I'm doing commercials. I'm talking to people. I'm convincing everybody that I will be an excellent president of Uruguay. Exactly. That's exactly what running for means. That means whatever I am doing, whatever functions I am performing, works to be the president. And that's the idea. Let's look at another one. I am going to run your idea by my boss to see what has he to say. Well, this is a little bit a more difficult structure that again has number of videos that will explain to you things that don't exist in any other place except my website or YouTube about English. Well, first of all, I'm going to that particular part of the verb has something to do with future and has something to do with a specific meaning and the level of future tenses. Make sure you watch the video. I am sure it is the only video on internet that will talk about that. So I am going to what? I'm going to run your idea by my boss. So preposition by, if you watch the preposition video, you'll understand that this is how I'm going to do things. And run has something to do with the future is I'm going to do what with your boss? I'm going to take your idea and I will present to your boss and we will see how your idea functions. And if the boss agrees that it functions well. And how we will see if your idea functions. How? Using preposition by, that's the meaning of the preposition by is how. We will do it by presenting to your boss to see what he has to say. Of course, there will be a very special video on the word see. Make sure you watch it. It has not much to do with vision. And say has not much to do with speaking. Those are really amazing two videos. Make sure you watch it. So my boss to see what he has to say. That means his opinion. But watch the videos. My students take the information they learned in my videos and run with it. What does that mean? What do you do when you watch my videos? What do my videos help you do? When you run with the information you find in my videos, what does my information help you do? It helps you function. And if you saw my video on prepositions and paid attention to preposition with, it has something to do with time. So that means that when you use information in videos, you function well. So let's take a look at another example, of a few other examples actually, how we can use phrasal verbs without my favorite and the funniest word run. Well, another video that is just absolutely amazing, that all English teachers will probably kill me for, is a video on two verbs. Come and go. If you watch the video, don't tell the teacher. Let's go ahead and take a look exactly how we're gonna use the verbs come and go together with the same prepositions. If you watch prepositions, video on prepositions, and you definitely should watch that video before you finish this one, and that you will see that the word up means something completely and something in a positive way. But what do you have to do completely in a positive way? Come has nothing to do with movement. And go has nothing to do with movement, just like run. They have something to do with time. So let's take a look and see. If you haven't watched the video, you'll probably learn quite a bit right now. And that is when you have to come up in price, when you're negotiating a car and you would like to pay less and the person who is selling the car wants you to pay more, and the seller tells you you need to come up in price to buy this car, what do you need to do? You need to change whatever your offer is to the level where you can buy it. That's why you need to come up in price. If you don't come up in price, you cannot buy it. What about go up in price? What goes up in price? Inflation. Inflation makes everything go up in price. So when the price goes up, the prices are kept for a long time at that level. When you have to come up in price, how long does it take you to change your offer? A few seconds. But when the prices change with inflation, they stay for a long time. What about come on? I'm sure everybody heard the expression, come on, let's go, right? Do we have to move from here to there or from there to here? Or maybe it has nothing to do with movement. If I want you to make a decision, it's a come on, make a decision. Do I want you to start moving? Or just want you to hurry up and do it quickly? So in this case, you have to quickly change the price you offer. In this case, you have to quickly make a decision. What about go on? What does go on means? Okay? That means that if you did the prepositions on, you know it has something to do with prior existence. So whatever it is that you were doing, you have to do something quickly after you did what you were doing. This one, again, there was something you were doing prior. There was an existence of prior activity. And now what you have to do, you have to continue whatever existed before. So do you have to continue for quickly, or do you have to continue for a long time? Do you have to decide to go quickly, or you have to decide for a long time? Come into the money. Those people who have received an inheritance, or maybe won a lottery, they came into money. Well, if you watch my prepositions videos, you will remember that preposition into means a surprise. And come means something fast. So, something fast has happened that gave you a surprise. Just like winning a lottery. So, you came into money when you bought a winning ticket. What about go into? Okay. What is go into? Well, go, as you now understood, has something to do with something that takes a long time. So into is a surprise. So you have to do something for a long time and you don't know what to expect. So when you go into a large building or you go into the symphony hall, you don't know what to expect because you're entering a large place and it will take you a while to figure things out. What about off? Look at the preposition off in the video that we have on it, and you will remember that off is a change of state. So you turn off the lights. That means the lights were turned on, they were giving light, and now the lights do not give light. So you turned it off. So what happens is that you have to come off. What is a come? Something happened very quickly that changed the state of what it was before. So maybe I was a really nice teacher, but I made a stupid joke. And now you don't think of me as a nice teacher. Or maybe you didn't like the joke. So maybe my joke was not a good one, or it was misunderstood. So I may be a wonderful person, but sometimes I will make a stupid joke. That means that I will come off as an idiot. That will happen quickly, and there will be a change of opinion who I am. What about go off? Again, it will be a change of whatever the conditions are, and it will take a long time. So when go off, a person who just went off, that means they became crazy. Something got him upset. Well, if you're upset, how long will it take for you to calm down? Generally, more than 5 minutes. That's why it's a go off. Or when you have a gun and you shoot a gun and everybody's scared what happened, how long will the emotional state last? If you're not sure, get a gun, go in the middle of the crowd and try to make a few shots. Make the gun go off a couple of times and see how long it takes for people running everywhere. And that would be a very strong emotion generated by the gun. So, what about come by? What's the difference between come by and go by? You've heard both things before and you said the teachers told me they mean the same thing. No, they don't. Because phrasal verbs are made of two parts. Yes, they both have the same prepositions, that means the same meaning. That's how something is going to happen. But the word come means quick, and the word go means slow. So, if you say that, Valerio, I will come by your house around 5 o'clock, that means I will make a stop. A long stop or short stop? Just a stop. So if I say I will come by your house, I am not coming in. I'm not having coffee, we're not having a pizza, we're not discussing my life or your life. I'm just knocking on the door, I'm gonna say hello, I'll give you something and I'm leaving. That would be a come by. But if I do want a pizza, and I do want to sit down and talk about my life and your life, then I'm going to go by your house at 5 o'clock. And I'm not leaving until I found out everything about you. Well, now you understand that the phrasal verbs are not that difficult. There's a secret to learning English. As I told you, and I keep telling all the time, learn prepositions, learn verbs, and when you put them together, all you have to do is make them. So once you will understand the meaning of verbs, and once you learn the meaning of prepositions, phrasal verbs will be a walk in the park. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you will find other videos just as useful as this one. And I hope to see you next time. To be in my video and to have me make a video specially to answer your question, send me an email to englishclubusa@yahoo.com, and you can visit my website at englishclubusa.com for a free life membership. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell.